This video is sponsored by OctaFX. More about them later in this video. The Poco M3 Pro 5G is the better performing device and in fact comes in at a slightly lower price in most cases than what you get the Samsung Galaxy A22. But is this enough reason for you to go pick up the Poco M3 as opposed to the Galaxy A22? That's what we're going to find out in this video. And so without taking much of your time, yo guys, let's get started. So where do we start now? Let's touch on the design choices made here. Now, I am a sucker for simplicity and minimalism, hence the A22's design is my preference here. So I love that simple square camera module at the rear and that tiny Samsung branding text. The Poco M3 has a lot going on for it at the rear, which some people might find attractive, but that's not the case for me here. Both smartphones still retain the 3.5mm jack port, USB-C, down-firing speakers, of which you get the louder speaker from the Poco M3 Pro. Both can accept dual SIMs with micro SD cards, but the M3 Pro has a hybrid configuration, so either dual SIMs or SIM and a memory card for the M3 Pro from Poco. The power buttons here also double as fingerprint sensors, as has become the norm for this type of devices. While you have the drop-notch older style front camera from the Samsung here, Poco gives you the more modern cutout placement. Some other facts that might interest you about the hardware designs include an IR blaster you get from the Poco M3 and Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection on this phone. As far as hardware and design is concerned, the Poco M3 takes the lead when you compare these closely weighted smartphones, and it feels a little bit larger to hold. Moving on to displays, you get a 6.5-inch IPS LCD panel with 400 nits of brightness, sometimes pushing to 500, Full HD Plus resolution and 90Hz refresh rate on the Poco M3 Pro. While the 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display on the A22 can go up to 600 nits in brightness, but has an HD Plus resolution which is lower in resolution, and also refreshes at 90Hz. Now the thing here is, even though I prefer the resolution on the Poco M3 Pro, the display from Samsung here, which is Super AMOLED, and you know these guys own the space here, actually feels more pleasant to use while consuming media. You get yourself truer blacks, all thanks to the AMOLED display. It is obviously brighter when you place the smartphones side by side, and it still gives you that 90Hz goodness. So if you want an overall better display here, the Samsung Galaxy A22 is the way to go. But if for some reason you prefer better resolution and Corning Gorilla Glass 3 protection on an LCD, as opposed to Super AMOLED display here, then you can pick the Poco smartphone. Now for the specs that matter in terms of how the smartphones perform, the similarities you get include a 6GB of RAM to 128GB maxed out specs for these devices, but I have the 64 and 4GB of RAM variants here for both of these devices. Both devices run on Android 11, and that's where the similarities in terms of specs and performance end. You get the better and faster processor on the Poco M3 Pro, which has the MediaTek Dimensity 700 5G chip, and that is noticeably faster than the Helio G80 chip on the Galaxy A22. I mean, you can see for yourself in the benchmark scores. Also, the Poco M3 Pro is a 5G smartphone, and if that's something that matters to you, keeps you future-proof in terms when you need that 5G connectivity on a smartphone. So as far as performance goes, the Samsung Galaxy A22 isn't the device to pick. You should go with the Poco M3 Pro 5G. Now, before we talk about the cameras here, let's talk about our sponsor for today's video. OctaFX is a global trading platform which has been helping traders make their most profitable and efficient trading decisions for 10 years now. Once you understand the basics of trading, which you can easily learn through the free materials on the OctaFX platform, that's if you're new here to trading, you do not actually need to go through the hassle of building your own strategy, as there is OctaFX copy trading app. And with that, you simply copy trades by experienced traders. With the risk score feature on the app, you can easily manage your risk and choose the right investments for you with lower risk scores. The steps are simple. Once you follow the link in the description box below, you register, make a deposit using your preferred payment method. You can go to the master traders method and choose the master to copy their trade. And this makes trading for new users quite easy. Make sure to understand the basics using the free materials before indulging in trades. You can download the OctaFX copy trading app with the link in the description box below, and you would get 50% bonus for the first copy trade you make. Go ahead, use the link in the description right now to download the app. Now back to the video. The Galaxy A22 comes with a 48MP main sensor, 8MP ultra-wide lens, 2MP macro and a 2MP depth sensor. while the Poco M3 here also gives you 48 megapixel main lens, 2 megapixel macro and a 2 megapixel depth lens. So there's no ultra wide sensor going on with the Poco M3 Pro. On the front side is where you get 8 megapixels for the Poco and 13 megapixels for the Galaxy A22. When you take a look at the photos that come from both devices, clearly Samsung has the better and more pleasant looking profile. Colors do pop here, as most people in the market for this range of devices would love. In general, the Galaxy A22 gives you more vibrant and colorful photos. Videos on both can be recorded at up to 1080p 30 fps, and here again you get the better videos from the Samsung. So far so good, the Samsung Galaxy A22 takes the lead in terms of the camera department. So moving over to the battery here, 15-watt charging and 5000 mAh battery is what you get from the Samsung Galaxy A22, while the M3 Pro gives you also 5000 mAh battery, but with a 22.5 watt faster charger. Now, as far as battery life, both are amazing and will take you into the next day for the regular users out there. I don't see any reason to complain about power usage and battery on these devices as far as my testing has gone so far. So for the configuration I have here, you can get the A22 for about 95,000 naira, roughly $190, and a Poco M3 Pro here for about $180 or 90,000 naira. Now, the pricing depends actually on where you buy, but I'll be leaving the actual updated prices or pricing in the description box below. So for pricing, they are very close, about the same, with the Poco being slightly cheaper, and that depends on where you're getting this device from. So what are my final thoughts on these devices? Which of them should you buy? Now, the truth is, in terms of the hardware, the Poco M3 Pro here floors the Samsung Galaxy A22. You have the better processor, better Bluetooth module, NFC, IR blaster, and even better sounding speakers. A better performing smartphone also. But generally speaking, around this price point, most people who want to get a smartphone want the best they can get for the price that's around this price point. Now, when this is coupled with a better display, which is an AMOLED 90Hz refresh rate display for the price, an amazing and intuitive UI, most people or the average consumers out there would want to take the safer bet. Something that touches a lot better in other aspects, like an all-rounder device, as these are the things that really do matter to them, not just performance. Now, my pick here would be the Samsung Galaxy A22, but that doesn't in any way make the Poco M3 Pro a lesser device. In fact, it's got great value for the price, if not better value for what it's worth. And that's been it for this video. Let me know if you did love this video by clicking on that like button, and do not forget to subscribe if you found this video helpful. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next one. Cuídate.